But let's hone in on one of the big stories of the moment. Transport Minister Fikile Mbalula and the Road Traffic Management Corporation set to release the 2020 festive season preliminary road statistics today. Over the past few weeks, Mbalula has led a road safety campaign across the country to try and curb carnage. The campaign's last stop was in KZN, where the minister launched this campaign. Our Newzroom Africa's reporter Pelane is on the story and joins us now for a bit more context about where we are. So Pelane, we were meant to actually have already heard from the minister. That briefing was initially scheduled to start at 9 o'clock. However, several delays. Take us through reasons behind this.
Well, we are now at a roadblock. That is exactly where the proceedings are going to begin as soon as, well, the roadblock has already begun actually just right behind me. And as soon as the minister comes through, he's also going to be assessing and inspecting that and also being part of the roadblock to also assess vehicles that are northbound. We are just outside Petroport Panorama in Pretoria, in the Montana area to be exact, and that is on the N1 northbound to Polokwane, and we're expecting quite a number of vehicles to be coming through already. Last week the number had indicated that around 1,500 vehicles were passing the Kranskop toll plaza northbound, so already showing you the number of people coming through, but expecting of course those numbers a little bit later on when the Transport Minister Fikile Mbalula will be addressing us and also giving us an indication around that time. But with me now is Simon Zwane. He is the RTMC spokesperson. I'm just going to bring him here. I can see he's a little bit busy there. But Simon, thank you for joining us. I mean, since the beginning of the season in itself, when you began with operations, what sense have you got from generally from South Africans, from motorists in your operations? Is there compliance?
Yeah, generally there is improved compliance. However, there's still a high number of people who are not obeying the rules of the road. They are speeding, they're driving under the influence of alcohol. Others are driving even when they don't have proper documentation. That is, they don't have licenses. So we're still seeing those kinds of incidents.
Yeah. And then in those particular incidents, of course, we're not really going to be talking about the stats now because the minister will be talking to that. Has there then been, has that evoked a sense of improvement for yourself in sense of visibility on the roads in the rural areas, or should I say townships, as far as routing is concerned?
Yeah, we've been visible everywhere. Mm-hmm. Our campaign has gone even right into residential areas. We've done activations there. We've also done law enforcement in the residential areas to ensure that there is improved compliance.
And one more thing before I let you go, Mr. Zwane, we've seen not only on social media over the last few days, young people on top of vehicles, some of them unfortunately having been involved in accidents. The R80 in Soshanguve, the Boyson bridge there being blocked with people literally creating a path within it. What is your call to motorists and people who are doing such deeds on our roads?
Our call really is that people should at least try to be responsible. We can live beyond this festive season. Let us all be responsible. We all have a duty to reduce accidents on the South African roads. Many of these accidents are really avoidable. The main cause of it is people's irresponsible conduct. And if we can behave better than we have been behaving up to so far, we can see the target reached.
Simon Zwane, the RTMC spokesperson. Thank you, man, for joining us there. I'm just going to bring in Ayanda Alipane, spokesperson to the Transport Ministry. Ayanda, thank you for joining us. And I could ask, has the coronavirus had any kind, the lockdown itself, had any kind of positive impact on the roads? Because, I mean, I believe that after 11 o'clock, we are not supposed to be seeing any vehicles if you don't have a permit at all. Has that assisted?
Thank you very much for having us. I think this is the mere reason why we're here today. Sort of assess the impact of COVID-19 on the roads. We did see during the hard lockdown level 5 and 4 that it was absolutely quiet on the roads. It reflected also in the Easter road fatality statistics that we saw a decrease there, sizable and notable one at that. And so we wanted to take a look at whether or not COVID-19 would have an effect on the festive season. So far, we are seeing that vehicles are out in their numbers. Perhaps that is due to the fact that people were not permitted to go and visit their loved ones in the rural areas throughout the year. So now perhaps they're making the most of that. The numbers will give us a clearer picture as to what we're dealing with, number one, when it comes to the regulations, the curfew that you speak of, but also number two, whether or not the various initiatives that we have taken part in, your innovative Hood for Life campaign and a number of other endeavors, whether they've been able to have an effect on the ground. And this is the reason why these preliminary statistics are so important for us. They give us a test, as it were, to see where we need to tighten up the bolts, what's working and what can be improved.
Yeah, the Hood for Life campaign, just take us through it a little bit educative, perhaps in a minute or so. What is it all about, and how could people perhaps join this particular campaign so that we can also definitely not only see a little bit more education to the people, but as well as improved kind of lifespan on our roads?
Well, this time of year, as you know, we often see increased traffic volumes. And with that, there's a slight decrease sometimes in being mindful of the effects of speeding, of drinking and driving, of not putting on your seatbelt. All these are driver behavioral issues. And so we're seeing on the one hand that you have law enforcement out in their numbers. You have a number of stakeholders, including the entities of the Department of Transport, playing their part. But we cannot do it alone as government. Road safety is a collective effort. We need to join hands with the public, and we need to change our psyche as a people. We need to conscientize ourselves, be it at different parties or whether we're with our family, wherever we are. Road safety must be top of the agenda. And this is the reason why Minister Mbalula brought about this Hood for Life road safety initiative. It is part of Arrive Alive campaign, where we're looking at 24/7 wire discussions as it pertains to road safety. We're calling on South Africans every day from 12 midday, about a minute or so. If you can go longer, definitely do, depending on your surroundings. But at least for 1 minute, just hoot so that you yourself can remember to drive safely, so you can remind those around you to do the same. And we feel that if we do that collectively, our psyche will improve as it pertains to road safety, and we will start to do better. Because as my colleague Simon Zwane has said, we cannot do it alone as government. We need to join hands with civil society groups, ordinary motorists, pedestrians and passengers if we're going to win this war against road carnage.
And the last one from me, what are we expecting here today? We'll take us through the program as the minister is coming through.
Well, this is but one of many law enforcement operations that are taking place. Minister Mbalula was in KZN the last couple of days. We've been crisscrossing the length and breadth of the country. We were also in Mpumalanga, so look out for us at a roadblock near you, as it were. But what he's going to do when he gets here, he will just join law enforcement operations to assess compliance. The broken window effect applies here. So we look at even the small details of your license discs, the roadworthiness of the vehicle. We can't just say we're just looking for drunk drivers. We're looking for every single thing, because it all counts when it comes to road safety. When he's done with the inspections, we will then take a seat and he will take us through some of those statistics to see whether or not we are winning this war so far, and where we need to improve, as I mentioned, and where we really need to scale more. So that's what's expected to take place today.
All the best with that, with attaining that 20% reduction in road fatalities. That's Ayanda Ali-Payne, the spokesperson to the Ministry of Transport, also giving us a head as to what we can expect as the minister comes through here, Ayanda. And of course, that question that you asked earlier about the Hood for Life campaign, what shape it was going to take, Ayanda was clarifying it, that it is just to conscientize one's mind that around 12 o'clock every single other day, if you hoot, it will be reminding yourself as one to drive safe, and of course maybe in the same instance reminding others to drive safe as you make your way around. Don't drink and drive, and also be cautious on the roads. Ayanda?
All right, absolutely. Thanks very much. Before I let you go, Pelane, you've been stationed where you are for quite some time, since the early hours of this morning. Your reading of the level of compliance just a few days from Christmas Day, how compliant are people on the roads from what you can see?
Look, the vehicles northbound, many of them, already some of them which are stopped here they seem to be compliant. People are wearing masks in their vehicles. I'll just ask now to show you as we are about to conclude. Yes, Ayanda. So there is some compliance. There are people that you can see that in the vehicles when they stop them, they are wearing their masks, and the vehicles are checked. Taxis are also being checked here, Ayanda. So not much there. But what I do know is that before the roadblock was stationed here, while we were still waiting, a lot of vehicles seemingly pooling trailers are the ones that might be having a bit of a problem. I would assume with my own naked eye that some of the trailers were quite overloaded, and I'd assume that those are some of the aspects that the Ayanda was talking about, that they'll be inspecting here, so that vehicles are not only roadworthy, but if it is a trailer, the trailer is also roadworthy, and it is not carrying more than it should as far as load capacity is.
All right, thanks very much. Pelane Phakgadi, our reporter, along a stretch of the N1 in Pretoria, there watching those developments as they take place. Of course, as soon as the minister starts to begin that address to give us the preliminary statistics of road cartages on the country's roads, we'll bring it to you live.